post 2 times a week on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend using headphones if you would like to hear the gentle mic brushing. Now, before we get to the case, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And please leave it a like if you don't mind. Thank you. So tonight we are traveling on down to Brazil. Shout out to all my friends in Brazil. Specifically, we are going to Sao Paulo. I hope I said that right. Sao Paulo. It was the year 2002, and it was on the night of Halloween, October 31st. This is the case of Suzanne von Richthofen. So let's take a moment to talk about Suzanne. Suzanne was born in November of 1983 into the privileged world of upper middle class Brazilian society in Sao Paulo. Her father was Manfred Albert von Richthofen. He was a German engineer. He was a distant relative of the German World War I flying ace Manfred von Richthofen. He was the director of DERSA, which was a state-owned company that manages the highway system in Sao Paulo. Suzanne's mother was Marissa von Richthofen. She was a Brazilian psychiatrist. Suzanne also had a younger brother named Andreas, who was 3 years younger than her. Suzanne's parents were very well off, and they worked hard for their money. They had a beautiful, beautiful home with a gorgeous swimming pool, and the children, Suzanne and Andreas, attended private school. Suzanne was academically gifted, and she learned to speak 3 languages. After graduating from high school, she attended Pontifical Catholic University of Sao Paulo, and she was studying law. It was said that her parents' net worth was about 17 million when converted to US dollars, and $10 million of that money was actually in an offshore account listed in Suzanne's name, and it was alleged that her father had embezzled it from his company. Whether or not that is true, we don't know, okay? That's just alleged. But, bottom line, they were rich, okay? Let's just say it like it is. And Suzanne had been promised the $10 million this was turning into a serious relationship, and they weren't overly thrilled with Daniel as a mate for their daughter. He was an auto mechanic, but he was not working. He had dropped out of school. He wasn't planning on going back. He spent almost every day smoking marijuana. He was getting their daughter into doing the same, they felt. And he was, let's just say it, from the wrong side of the tracks. You know, he was from a lower class Brazilian family. So they weren't overly thrilled with the relationship. Suzanne's parents went away on a vacation in July of 2002, and while they were gone, Daniel moved into the house with Suzanne, and Suzanne was really enjoying that time with him. So when her parents got home from their vacation, she said to them, "You guys should get me an apartment so that I can move out and live with Daniel." And her father said to her, "You can go ahead and do that when you have your own money," but he was not willing to pay for that since he didn't even support the relationship. At this time, Suzanne's parents pressured her to break off the relationship, and they threatened to stop giving her an allowance if she stayed with him. But she continued to see him secretly anyway. She was 18 at this time, going on 19. So she allegedly got it in her head that she needed to get rid of her parents. In other words, kill her parents in order to stay with Daniel and get money. Because if she wanted to stay with Daniel, they clearly were saying they weren't giving her any allowance. And she wanted to do both of those things. She wanted to stay with him and she wanted money. Okay, so she starts working on a plan, and she involves Daniel and his older brother, Christian. At that time, Daniel was 21 and Christian was 26. So here is how it unfolded. It was Halloween 2002, and they started out the evening by bringing her brother to an internet cafe where he would hang out with his friends for the evening into the, late night and early morning hours, so he would be there a while. Then she went back to her house and the two men went with her. They waited outside as she shut off the alarm system, and she went up into her parents' bedroom to see if they were asleep, which they were. So she let the men into the house. She sat downstairs while they did what they did, which was basically, not to get graphic, they brutally beat and suffocated the parents, which was harder to do than they had expected, but they did it. Once the deed was done, they staged the house to look like there had been a burglary. They took all the cash that was there out of the house and they threw the papers around on the floor, and then they left. Suzanne and Daniel went to a hotel to establish an alibi for the evening, and Christian went and had some fast food and made sure that he was seen. Then around 3 in the morning, I believe, they picked up her brother Andreas from the internet cafe and went home, at which seem kind of suspicious because, well, the alarm system was turned off. So, how did a random burglar shut the alarm system? They also felt that the papers that were spread out all over the floor looked as if they had been staged purposely, like they could tell. And they felt that Suzanne was not acting like a normal grieving daughter. She just didn't seem upset. She even had a little pool party for her 19th birthday a couple days after her parents died. She was just carrying on as normal, And the thing that really clinched it was that Christian, he went and he purchased a motorcycle using all cash, $100 bills. And that did not seem like something that he would have been able to do financially, because he was not the kind of person who had that kind of cash, where he couldn't explain where did he get this cash from. So all three of them were arrested on November 9th of 2002, so it was only about, 9 days later. And they all confessed. They didn't all give the same motive, but they all confessed that they were involved in the murder. Suzanne was able to get out of prison for a while and await the trial under house arrest. Now, while she was at home under house arrest, she was interviewed by a Brazilian news channel. And unbeknownst to her and her attorney, they were recorded talking privately to each other before the interview. Like, I guess they both had their mics on and they didn't think about it, and they were talking off screen, and he was telling her exactly what to say and how to act during the interview. Her story was that she was manipulated by her boyfriend, Daniel, and he was the one who wanted this murder to happen and not her, but he had convinced her to help him make it happen, because he wanted the money. in prison. And what that is the convict has the right to work and attend vocational courses, secondary or higher education during the day, returning to his unit at night. And they were also allowed to take some time off and go on a vacation, or vacations while they were in prison. They actually get to leave for a time and then come back. Wow, right? Who would have expected that to be a thing? Not me. In 2018, Suzanne tried to get her sentence reduced by having her lawyer claim that the reason why she did this was because of her personality disorder. She claimed that she was egocentric and a narcissist, and this was the excuse for why she had been involved in these murders. What kind of an excuse is that? You don't get out of a murder charge due to a personality disorder. If that were the case, then the jails would be empty. Am I right? So luckily, the judge refused it. I can't even believe that the lawyer would suggest even trying that tactic. Suzanne served about 20 years in prison, and she has recently been released on January 11th of 2023, and she now lives a reclusive life in a place called Angatuba. Now, what became of her brother, you might be asking? Andreas. Well, he was 15 at the time of the crime, and he went to live with his grandmother and his uncle, and he tried to live a normal, private kind of life. In 2005, he began studying pharmacy and biochemistry and wanted to pursue an academic career. But in 2017, he was back in the news at age 29 after having been arrested for breaking into some houses in Sao Paulo. When the police arrived, he looked confused and he was incoherent, and he was taken to the hospital. It was said that he had problems with alcohol and marijuana, and he was taken to a recovery clinic. Another thing that I wanted you guys to know was that there was a copycat case in Brazil as well. This was in the year 2021. A 12-year-old girl, along with her 13-year-old friend, murdered the 12-year-old girl's father, and they wanted to kill the mother as well, but that part of the plan didn't work out. Her father was a police officer. He was 46 years old, and his name was Neef Louise Furlong. These girls stated that they were inspired by Suzanne, who they felt was the victim of society, and they wanted to be famous like she was. So, that is the case. What do you think? I will tell you some of my thoughts. First of all, my heart goes out to Manfred and Marissa, the mother and father, who were brutally killed for absolutely no reason while they slept in their beds. And for their son, Andreas, who obviously suffered greatly, and that is probably what led to his issues later in life. And to everyone else in the family of friends who were affected by this vicious murder. course, Suzanne was the mastermind. It was her idea. She was greedy as can be and lazy. That is a horrible combination. She didn't want to work. She wanted the money. She did not care about the lives of her parents. Granted, they were against her relationship with this guy who she loved. Okay, that happens all the time. And even if you think, or she thinks, or anyone thinks that that wasn't fair, you know, that they were looking down on him because he was from a lower class or whatever, that's still not a good enough reason to murder them. Plus, putting that piece of it aside, okay, forget about the fact he was from a lower class. He was an unemployed man who did not want to go back to work, who used marijuana every day. Okay, so just that piece alone is enough. I don't want my kids to date somebody who fits that description, and I don't think you do either, right? Anyway, so she didn't like what they had to say, and they didn't want to give her any more allowance if she didn't break up with them. So you know what she should have done? She had two choices. Listen to them, stay in the house, get her allowance, or don't listen to them, get a job, make some money, and get your own place, okay? Those are the real choices that normal people would pick from. Killing your parents is not the answer, but I know you all know what I'm saying. So I don't have to continue, but it's despicable. And, you know, she got her boyfriend and her boyfriend's brother involved in it. They were willing participants. Clearly, Christian was doing it for the money. I'm sure he was promised a large part of the inheritance. And Daniel also surely wanted the money, regardless of what he might have said. And he probably also wanted to be with Suzanne as well. And they really thought they would get away with it with this plan. Plus, as soon as they were arrested, they all confessed. It's amazing. The part about how Christian went out and bought a motorcycle right away reminds me of the Menendez brothers. Didn't one of them go out and buy a really expensive watch like right after the parents were killed? I guess they never heard about that case when they planned this one. So,